So, Steve-o's found himself in a bit of shit recently. For those of you who are unaware, he was on the Danny Brown show not too long ago and did a little shit talking about video games and the people who play video games. Me and my buddy made a video covering it, so if you're curious, I've linked it in the description. Needless to say, some people got a little bit upset about it. Some might even say I was one of those people, though I personally wouldn't say I was necessarily upset as much as I was just baffled by the ignorance of some of his comments, but anyways. He has since apologized, and I made a video covering that apology. It's actually this video that you're watching right now, but we'll be getting to that in a bit. So after finishing the video, I was looking through images for the thumbnail and had a bit of a bomb dropped on me. It wasn't really a bomb. That just worked well with the clip. It was something I just more remembered. Did you know that Steve-o has been in not just one, but 2 video games? The video game hating man himself has not only contributed to, but has made money off of the very thing that he hates. And if you ask me, that kind of stinks.
You!
Boom, nailed it. Now, like I said, he has apologized. But if that's not just the cherry on top of the hamburger, then I don't know what is. I'm pretty sure I got that saying right. It's a bit ironic, though, isn't it? At least I think it is. I'm never quite sure when irony is applicable, but I think this is one of those times. It's at the very least hypocritical. Anyways, for funsies, I made just a quick little compilation of Steve-o, who hates video games, as a character in video games. The apology will follow that, should you choose to stick around. Enjoy. Hello. Hi. So, some of you saw my Steve-o video, and I was made aware that Steve-o has released, or had released, an apology. Apparently that apology came out before our video. But in our defense, we did record our video before his apology. I'm just really slow at editing, and hadn't seen the apology, and then the video came out. Now that I'm aware of it, we're going to take a look at it and see, if Steve-o's, how Steve-o did with it. Yeah, the response to my video was fun. I typically don't get a lot of engagement with my videos. This is kind of a small hobby I have. I think if you look at my upload rate, you can see that the consistency is very, very slow. It was both exciting and terrifying to wake up and see that I had views on this video. A lot of people seemed very upset and defensive of Steve-o. I did get the impression that a lot of people think any criticism of Steve-o is like a attack on his sobriety or something like that, or his journey of sobriety, and that makes zero sense to me. I said nothing, and I don't think I said anything in the video attacking his sobriety. He's a huge inspiration to me in that regard. All the credit where credit's due to him for how he has changed and improved himself over the years. I'm on my own personal journey right now. I've had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol for a while, and I'm 3 weeks or so into dealing with that. I got criticized of drinking in that video. That was right at the beginning stages of that. It is non-alcoholic beer that I'm drinking in that video. My friend, he is drinking a couple of beers, but at that moment, neither of us are drunk, so any belligerence on our part, we can't hide behind that. That's just us, and it is what it is, unfortunately. That being said, Steve-o can be criticized. He can do fantastic things over here and then also say dumb things over here, and we can address this without having to dismantle this over here, okay? So that's all that's going on here. Steve-o said, in my opinion, dumb things about video games. Seemed to be oblivious of the platform that he was on while he was saying this stuff, and I guess that's what I took issue with. So we were drinking, also got called out for vaping. Again, if we were attacking his sobriety, the vaping would matter, but that's not what it's doing. I think you'll find most sober people find another outlet that is perceived as healthier in some sense over here, right? And so for a lot of addicts, that can be cigarettes, smoking, and stuff like that. It feels like a weird thing to criticize. I wasn't trying to proclaim like I'm more healthy or better or anything like that. I definitely have my vices still, and nicotine is one of them. I was a cigarette smoker for a long time, so this does feel like a minor upgrade, but I'm not a doctor. I don't fucking know. Let's see. Some of you jumped in to defend Steve-o, and I think, like, in my view, kind of unintentionally criticized him. One person, when I said that Steve-o looked depleted, I was referring specifically to how Steve-o looked, like, on that episode of the show. So your defense of, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, he's 49 and led a pretty rough life and managed to make it out mostly in one piece, feels kind of like a dig to Steve-o, because I meant in that moment, I think Steve-o looks fucking fantastic for his age. He's only got 6 years on me. I'm not that far off, and I hope to look as good as Steve-o does around that age. I genuinely. Someone else, well, we got attacked. Well, not attacked. That's the wrong word. Somebody, I guess, poked fun at us, saying that we are the type of people that no one in the group enjoys, and everyone wants to leave, and we're unaware of it. Again, I think if you knew about Steve-o's past, they've been pretty open about the fact that that was kind of Steve-o early on in the group. So I think Steve-o could kind of almost relate to that to some extent. Yeah. When it comes to video game addictiveness, right, there's totally a conversation that could be had about unhealthy gaming habits. Absolutely. Steve-o chose not to go that route, right? When you're on a show that, from what I understand, because I'm not super familiar with the Danny Brown show, I know he's a rapper, and I know he likes video games. I haven't even been on his show, and I know this. If I was going to be on his show, I would also hope that I know that beforehand. I would do my best to know that. I would make sure that I knew that. No, I would absolutely know that before I went onto the show, right? And then I would understand the audience that I was talking to, right? If I'm an atheist and I want to walk into a church and like change people's minds, is calling them stupid and saying they're dumb and ignorant, is that going to create engagement? Like, are people going to engage with, or am I just going to immediately build a wall for them that's going to shut them down, and they're going to see enemy, and no conversation is going to occur? Yeah, I think if Steve-o wanted to have a real conversation about that, then he could have chosen a different way to engage with it, right? Because there's definitely lines when it comes to video games. So the microtransactions are phone games, stuff like that. These are created to tap into like those receptors. And people with addictive personalities are absolutely keen to being addicted to those sorts of things. I think that shares a lot of traits with social media in general, right? I can't help but see the hypocrisy that exists there, right? Steve-o is a social media fiend. He's a promotional fiend. He heavily, whether it's selling you something, whether it's promoting his stuff, he uses social media as a tactic, as a tool to do that. He counts on that to some extent for his benefit. And I just can't help but see the hypocrisy that exists there. And Steve-o, for his journey, I think is very aware of that and uses it to his benefit. Yeah, so the main point is just there's definitely conversations to be had about it, but I don't believe that criticizing and attacking and generalizing the conversation in a manner that accuses everyone in the room when there's really only like a few perpetrators existing there doesn't benefit anything. So those were my main criticisms. So that being said, let's watch this video and see how Steve-o does, how if he's self-aware and realizes his mistakes.
In a number of L's lately.
Quite a few.
Yeah, I've been effectively hiding out in Tennessee on a ranch. I've made my time dedicated to cutting wood.
Yeah.
You're out here because you're taking L's and you're hiding out?
I mean, I don't know. Like I've been in a little bit of a funk. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was gonna say
the
the funk makes sense in the sense that I think he absolutely ran himself ragged doing as many podcasts and doing as much work as he did. He's tired, and yeah, when you're tired, it's easy to get in that funk. So that seems reasonable.
That's why you're out here?
It's not why I'm out here. It's not why I'm out here. But I'm out here just feeling like, man, like I just want to unplug and I want to hide out. Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Your obsession to cutting firewood is really funny. Every time Scott texts the group chat, hey, dude, can you confirm this? We need this confirmed. And the only thing we get back is a video of you chopping wood.
Or a photo of a stack of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We all found
let's
find our
start
outlets.
With the
Some
biggest
healthier
L
than
of them
others.
all, it would seem, is my appearance on the Danny Brown podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and in defense of me, even Steve-o realizes it, all right? You in the comments. Even Steve-o realized it's an L. You guys don't, but Steve-o did.
What happened there?
I had a couple of offenses on there, and I'm going to completely cop to both of them. First and foremost, I offended everybody, but I don't know if I personally offended Danny Brown himself. But while I was on the podcast, I asked Danny Brown.
That reminds me. Yeah, I do. There was one comment that said Danny Brown laughed it off, and I think we have a fundamental difference of understanding of the type of laughter that was going on there. Some people can be polite in uncomfortable situations and kind of laugh things off. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're finding what's going on to be funny. And I guess that's the type of laughter that I saw. There was a segment coming up he was excited for, and that got completely derailed by somebody who literally just ended up criticizing the whole premise of it for the next however many minutes. And yeah, I think it was uncomfortable laughter.
He do on stage? He mentioned being on stage, and I was like, "Oh yeah, what do you do on stage?" And people were just generally outraged that I would be on his show and not know like what he does. Mm-hmm. And I don't really have a defense for that. I mean, I did like a bunch of podcasts. It was probably close to 50 different podcasts that I did.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's I don't. Sorry, I guess I'm not letting him finish. But like the scheduling podcasts feels very, very different to me than like movie promotional things where there's like they're in a room and there's like one media outlet there, another one there, and you're just jumping from here to here to here to here. Maybe he was stacking these up a bunch in the day, but to have no awareness of the audience that you're promoting to seems naive, right? Like, I don't know. If you're that unaware, could you not just end up on some like neo-Nazis fucking podcast and not even realize it and be like, oh shit, whoopsie daisy, like it seems like either you or someone in your team should be able to go, hey, okay, now you're going to be on Danny Brown. Danny Brown's this rapper. He enjoys video games, like that's a general topic that they talk about here, and blah blah blah. Yeah, so it feels like a fail.
And I've never heard of researching the show that you're going on as being a thing, but people are outraged, so obviously I was wrong. I'm not trying to be. I've never heard of researching the thing. That's, I don't know. Like, is that something that you have to be taught? Like, is that something that you need to hear that that's a thing? Or would you just do it for your own benefit so that you can know what the fuck you're doing and who you're talking to? I don't know. not going to defend it. And while I was on that podcast, I went in on video games in a way that just was super douchey, didn't make even any sense, and was genuinely
Yeah, so everyone got mad at me. Steve-o just agreed with me.
offensive to everybody who loves video games.
See, I missed the clip on what you said about all the video game stuff.
I mean,
Why, was there clips on it? How do you know, like, people
No,
were
not-
offended?
We gotta do a quick timeout. My dog needs a treat. How did you do it? Did you do it? Sorry, he finished dinner and he needed a treat because he's a good boy.
Are there clips on it? There are multiple videos, like video essays, dedicated.
Mine wasn't
to,
an essay. We were riffing.
How much of a fail I've just been on podcasts in general. Like one was just dedicated alone to like how bad I failed on the Danny Brown podcast. And for anybody who
I by
doesn't know
no
Danny Brown-
stretch of the imagination think that Steve-o's seen my video or will ever. I don't. Yeah, but should he? I would totally. If you wanted to chat, I don't think you will, but should you? I'm open to it, man. Like I said, Steve-o. I don't even think we said it in our last video, but dude. Been a fan and grew up with you, man. Been a fan with you for a long time, and yes, you've been fucking rad and a king on your sobriety journey, dude. Totally love you. Just there's just ways to talk about it.
Is a huge rapper. He's also a video game personality. So it was like an extra huge L for me to not know anything about Danny Brown and talk disparagingly of video games.
Yeah, we don't like video game people talk.
And you know what? I'm done with that.
What does he say
Because
there?
I not know anything about Danny Brown and talk disparagingly of video games.
Yeah, we don't like video game people talk.
And you know what? I'm
We don't like video game people to talk. I don't understand what he's saying there.
done with that because it's like, hey, if you enjoy it, then do it. Like I'm certainly, not accomplishing much by cutting firewood. Like I do all kinds of stuff to waste my time. Imagine like just the amount of time I spend scrolling through social media and watching YouTube videos. Like everything that I've
Imagine the amount of content that you create that inspires that sort of behavior. To scroll, to sit, to watch, and then to turn and criticize the audience just feels very naive.
ever said negative about video games, saying that it's a waste of time, that it's like people sitting on the sofa and just there's a million ways to waste time and there's a million ways to sit on the sofa, and I'm guilty of all kinds of them. So I hereby promise to never, ever disparage video games again. To each their own, whatever they enjoy.
Yeah, but that's not enough. What are you going to do to make it? What are you going to
Well, my Razorhead wireless earbuds, did I call them Razorhead? My Razer wireless earbuds are, they keep fucking with my shit. I'll just randomly disconnect every time it does, and my camera freezes. I have to restart this whole fucking thing over, so god damn it, we're going fucking with the hair, and we're putting these on. Trying to avoid it, but here we are. Okay, let's get back into this.
To get on some
What are you going to do to make it right? Are you going to get on like a video game podcast and play some video games?
It absolutely occurred to me to get on some video game shows. There's a huge one. I'm just guessing that they're still very
Game
active.
Grumps?
Game Grumps. I was on there, and mind you, I was on there and said disparaging things about video games years ago. And it was just kind of a different tone, and it was kind of fun and light. Whereas on the Danny Brown podcast, I don't know, I'm just burned out.
I would even say that in my video because I show when he makes the joke that he's written for this, that my dad or mom probably made when I was fucking 13, is the tonality of the one he had made a year ago versus the tonality of this one. Like I said, we preface it with, he seems tired. he's been doing a lot of podcasts. His tonality is, he sounds like he's just being a dick, right? And that, yeah, the tonality is a part of it.
I was just burned out by that point, and
I think let's get you on a Twitch and let's get you like an Activision account. Let's get you to play some games. You know, we can get you on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. We can reach out to them, see if they want to give you a Steve-o skin. There's a lot of ways to get back to the gamer community.
I don't know what a skin is, but I do want to make it up to the gamer community. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Is it hot in here?
Hey, look, it's all that being said, I think him acknowledging, because I was the obliviousness construct of it was very much how he could be doing this and then criticize his own. I don't think he realized that he's criticizing his own audience to some extent, or how much of his audience he was criticizing. So yeah, him acknowledging that social media and all of this shit is more or less the same thing and is kind of the point. He can still have a conversation about it because it has to do with healthy engagement with these things. There's definitely unhealthy video game engagement. So I think he would know this, right? Because I think in the world of drugs and his sobriety thing, he understands addictive personalities and like how certain people can engage differently with things than others, right? Some people do cocaine once and they're addicted forever. Some people do cocaine like 20 times and then stop, right? Like, it's the education of how to engage healthily with things is a good conversation to have. Absolutely. But you just don't go like, even criticize drug addicts as being pieces of shit and like worthless and stuff like that does a complete disservice to like what it is that got them there, why they are that, the disease that is addiction, and the choice that's even involved with all of this. It just feels, yeah.
Okay, so what are there any more L's? Just kind of generally over promoting the bucket list, I'm guessing.
Not just promoting the bucket list. Like, your salesmanship is like off the charts ridiculous, dude. The amount of shit that you try to sell to people, the amount of like, turn this into a Steve-o thing. Let's brand myself on this. Let's brand myself on this. Let's brand myself on this. You know who's buying most of this shit. It's going to be kids and, you know, well, maybe not so much anymore. Actually, I don't know about that. I would have said it would be kids like back in the Jackass era, but I don't know what sort of influence he has to that generation now. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we've all seen the Joe Rogan where he, you know, Steve-o's butt wipes or whatever, and how that engagement went. Like, a little bit of self-awareness there, and how to tone yourself down a bit would be good.
And I did watch the beginning of the video, and he was like, hey, you know, he's out there promoting his thing, and he said that by making my comedy specials multimedia and like Jackass style of stuff, that's a good call. And I am proud of it, dude. Like, the bucket list.
You should be. It's super epic.
Thanks for that, Vinny. And I do agree. The bucket list is super sick. And I also feel very strongly.
This feels like an inappropriate time for an ad when we're talking about over-promoting. I mean, you're not self-promoting here, but we're going to promote something else, you know, whatever. Shopify could have probably waited till after that conversation or after another conversation. So again, these little bits of self-awareness. That's all I'm generally pointing out. Yeah, it's not to take away from promoting your thing. Of course, you can promote it, but it seems like you're like, with your promotion, it's like you don't wait for the moment to promote. It's you kind of worm in a way to promote somehow in every general topic, you'll figure out a way to turn it into a promotion of you and your stuff sometimes. Yeah, I think that could be it. Let's go past this ad. Well, after this, it's just entertainment, business, reading comments. I mean, I think we've heard the apology, at least to the video game aspect, and I guess that's the part that I took personally. And I think it's a fair apology. Again, I don't want you to like dismiss the conversation. I just want you to learn how to have it, because there are actually a lot of people who have an unhealthy relationship with video games, right? But I mean, if the criticism is just like sitting on your ass and being lazy, dude, I'm sitting on your ass watching your podcast. You edit. You're an editor of I think you edit your videos. You're sitting on your ass when you're editing. Then probably for hours. I sit on my ass to edit for hours as well. And like, there's just better criticisms to make and a better way to engage with it. And you, with your understanding of addiction and in your journey of sobriety, it just felt like a missed opportunity, right? If you wanted to reach out to those people, to get them to listen, you don't start out by calling them lazy and worthless, whatever word you use. I'm paraphrasing here, but people will stop listening right then, right? If you want to go on to Doug Benson's, you wouldn't go on Doug Benson's show, but if you wanted to go on to Doug Benson's show and try to convince people like how to talk to people about healthy engagement with like marijuana and drugs and stuff like that, I think calling them like worthless and pieces of shit, you know, for doing the thing isn't really how you start that conversation. If your objective goal is to get them to listen for the sake of change, right? So yeah, that would be my point. I guess that's the video. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see what you guys have to say now, huh? Feel free to comment below. Like and subscribe. All right. Love you all. Kisses. Be safe out there.
I am surrounded by complete idiots.